Is there anything else you want to say, Lucy? How about keep God first and love always? Yeah? Yeah. Hi. Hello. Welcome. If you're watching, God bless you. The doctor is in and she's gonna do a little chit chat video today. Kind of going over what it takes to become a DVM. Now, so you want to become a veterinarian. I have a few tips to share with you. The journey isn't always as easy for some people, and it's not always as straightforward. For example, I'm a non-traditional student, which means I didn't go straight into vet school after I got my undergraduate degree. I took some time off. However, either way, getting there and is just a blessing. It's a blessing, and so I'm thankful that I got the opportunity to go to vet school, pursue my dreams of becoming a veterinarian, and I guess I just kind of want to share a few tips. Okay, so all right, many people I've heard say I want to become a vet or I want to do something with animals, and the beauty about that is that animals are everywhere. This is gonna be a little bit of a spiel, but you don't have to be a veterinarian to work with animals. There's plenty of jobs out there that you could do, or animals are a part of our lives in general. They're a part of the ecosystem. They're a part of the world. As a matter of fact, they were created before we were. So you don't have to be an animal doctor to work with them. However, it is still very rewarding as a profession if that's what you want to do. So if you want to become a veterinarian, first things first, you need to do a few things, okay? Now, you've already made the decision. This is what you're passionate about. This is what you want to do. Now you need to go through a few steps. So the first thing you need to do is get those prerequisites down in terms of your education. Now, how do you get those prerequisites? Some people will do their whole undergraduate degree and let me say this, you don't have to always go to undergrad to go to vet school. Anyways, that's for another time. So there's certain things you need to do, and there's certain things that will support you on your journey to vet school. Okay, so the first things that let me first go over what you need, and then I'll talk about what will support you. So first of all, we need God in everything, because child, he's the one who makes a way. But anyway, you need to get those prerequisites down in terms of your education. So there are some graduate programs for vet that take people straight from high school. I know Australia does that, and the Caribbean does that. Some Caribbean countries, not all. For example, if you're gonna go to vet school is it Trinidad or Barbados? One of them, you can go straight from high school. But for the most part, they'd want you to do an undergraduate program. So usually you need to do your science subjects, so your biology, chemistry, physics, animal sciences, agriculture, kind of courses like that. The main ones though are your biochem and physics. And sometimes those prerequisites with a different degree focus can get you into vet school, but pretty much that's usually what most people would major in. Next, you need to apply. Now, first, actually, before we think of applying, don't forget we have to do the standardized test. Now, I don't know if things have changed in terms of that requirement, but it's usually the graduate record examination, in other words, the GREs that you need to take. And then they look at those scores as well as your transcript from your undergraduate program. Okay? Then, if you're gonna be applying, there's different schools that you can look into, because different schools kind of look at things a little differently. This book was very helpful in terms of, this book was so helpful in terms of looking at what each vet school required. It tells you a little bit about each vet school, so I'll pick a random page. All right, here's Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee. Hold on. So, for example, Lincoln Memorial in Tennessee, it tells you the school description, it tells you what the curriculum looks like, the prerequisites for admission, such as like your course requirements, semester hours and the quarter hours, and clinical experience, which we'll get into a little bit later, as well as some application information. Now, once again, I'm not sure how much things have changed, but usually you go through VMCAS, VMCAS, to do your application. And VMCAS, let me tell you what that stands for. The Veterinary Medical College Application Service. So VMCAS stands for the Veterinary Medical College Application Service, and usually you put all your applications through there and it will filter them out to the different schools that you can apply to multiple schools through that one application service. Okay, but as I said, this is from the AAVMC, which is the Association of American Veterinary Medical Colleges. This book was very helpful. It doesn't only have vet schools from America though. It has, for example, University of Sydney, it has University of Guelph, which is in Canada, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, and University of Prince Edward Island, which is also in Canada. So it's just a good overarching resource when you're looking into applications. If I'm not mistaken, I had gone to a pre-vet kind of conference or some panel, and that's where the book was handed out to me. I'm not sure where you can actually get it from right now, but I'm sure just Googling it will give you that information. But yeah, so we said we need to get those prerequisites, so certain courses that you need to take and a certain amount of credit hours that you need to take. Then we said we need to do our standardized test, and then you need to apply. Now, it's like a whole year basically the application process takes, because say you graduate from your undergrad in June, your applications are usually due around September. That's usually when the deadline ends. So you'd want to take your standardized test, sometime before then, to make sure you can get your scores in. And then the next step is interviews. So if you pass through the application process with a school and they're interested in, further checking you out, seeing what you're about and whatever, you're gonna head to your interview process. Now, interviews are usually December, January, around that time. I'll talk about that a little bit. I'm just kind of giving you the timeline. So you do your interviews around then, and then if you get accepted, then you're looking to start school in August. So it literally takes roughly about a year. So you have to plan accordingly when you're applying for vet school. That's part of the reason actually that I took some time off before I went, because I wasn't so clear on the application process and how the timeline worked. But once you get your ducks in a row, you should be fine. It's pretty straightforward. Now what I wanted to say was interviews. Now the interviews can be different. So some schools will take it as just you and 1 to 2 other people interviewing you, and some schools will have you go around to multiple stations and kind of do little tests. I don't really want to put it that way, but yeah, I mean, they are testing you with an interview anyway to see what you say, how your mindset, your goals, to see if you're a fit for the school. So interview processes can be a little different, so keep that in mind when you're preparing for your interviews. Okay, now say we passed all of that, we got through our interviews and head into vet school. You don't really need to study anything to start. If your school gives you, a taste of the curriculum so you can prepare yourself, that's cool. But usually they'd want you to just kind of take the time that you have to relax and, enjoy your free time before vet school starts. Not saying you won't have free time in vet school, but it's a very intensive program. So you have to still use your free time very wisely. But nonetheless, just you don't have to study a whole bunch of things before you start your classes. Now, I think I pretty much went over what I wanted to, but I'm just gonna check my notes to make sure. Oh, whoa, so what I wanted to say, how could I forget, is if you're gonna be applying, you got your prerequisite hours in, you did your GRE, you also need to get experience. So you did your standardized testing, you need to get experience with animals. Okay, now they look at your experience in general, so if you've had jobs or if you volunteered or even research, they look into things like that, but they also want to know what you've done with animals. So it'll be a very good thing for you to start looking into. And yes, people have pets at home and that's all good and dandy, but they usually want to see what you've done outside of that. So if you've worked with small animals, or you've worked on a farm, maybe you've worked at the zoo before, or you did an internship or something like that. Like for example, I did an internship at the Bronx Zoo, so that was helpful for me when I was applying. I also worked at a doggy daycare. I was a dog walker, dog handler. So, I also volunteered in the animal shelter. So certain things like that you can do to assist and support you. So yeah, as I said, there's things you need versus things that will support you. So the things that you need to do are have that passion and that drive. You need to apply. You need to get your prerequisite hours and your experience working with animals. And then the things that will support you are your experiences. So your life experiences, your job experiences, or your voluntary experiences, as well as any research you may have been involved in. And of course your personality, your character, charisma, things like that, especially when you go in for your interviews or when you're writing your personal statement. Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. You know, so many people want to be a vet, or they want to go to vet school, but they're probably not clear on the process, and not every school has a pre-veterinary program, you know, that can kind of guide students. So, and if you just kind of want to know and prepare yourself ahead of time anyway, I hope this video is helpful. So yeah, all the best if you decide to pursue this journey. It's very rewarding. It can be very fun as well. And yeah, God bless you. And until next time. I think I want to do a video on when you actually get to vet school, so you're studying veterinary medicine. Hopefully I can get onto that one next and share some helpful tips there. Yeah, that's my cat. Lucy, you want to come say hi? Come. Come. You want to tell the people all the best? Yes, she says good luck. And until next time, see you. Bye.